Hey, how you doing? Just got back from seeing Alien Romulus, and I was thinking to myself, maybe I should just do a YouTube short. I don't do these like longer, like discussion type. It's not a discussion because it's just me, but you know, what I mean, long form, like kind of just off the cuff, just me talking. Unless I'm in bed, I do those ones where I'm just in the bed and stuff. And I was thinking maybe I'll do that. Should I do a YouTube short just to quickly talk about it? Yeah, did I do for one for Deadpool and Wolverine? Yeah, I did a in bed one. What was the last time I did one of these reviews where it's just me here in front of my computer? It's been a little while. Anyway, so Alien Romulus, just got back from seeing it. Wanted to see it a couple days ago, just was busy, so I just got back from seeing it, and I'll talk real quick about non-spoilers, and then I need to get right into spoilers because I got it's such a this movie's a conundrum to me. Like, hey, I really like Fede Alvarez. Really liked Evil Dead, his remake, of course. I really like Don't Breathe. Girl with the girl in the spider's web. But I don't know. I thought he was a good choice. I really thought he was a good choice for Alien. And I'm just gonna say here, the first 30 to 40 minutes I really liked. There is a certain point where I was just like, oh, and then it kind of took a dip, but it kept going back up. You know what I mean? Like it was like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. Okay, okay, that's really stupid. Okay, oh, you know, because it starts off really good. It looks great. The set design, the special effects, the character introductions. I really, really liked Andy, the android, of course, played by David Johnson, who I thought was great in this. Was it David Johnson? Again, I'm doing this off the cuff, so let me get the cast list up here while I talk about this. But yeah, David Johnson. I thought he was really great. Kaylee Spanny, I don't know how to say your name. Sorry, girl. But who plays Rain? She was good. I really liked her. It immediately starts off, and you already kind of like the characters. Not like they're not amazing, but they're pretty good. I thought David Johnson was great in that, by the way. I thought he was excellent throughout the entire movie because he does a lot. Considering he's an android in the character in the movie, Andy. Yeah, Andy. Actually, his name is because his serial number is ND, and then a bunch of numbers. Which is I was like, well, the name should just be there. Andy, android. Come on, should have been that. But whatever. ND, I get it. But I really liked him. Thought he was great in it, and I really liked his character. And he had to do a lot of stuff throughout the entire movie when it comes to like I can't spoil it right now, but there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with his character for the most part until the end. We'll get to that. And I like Kaylee, however you say her name, Civil War lady. But yeah, it just like it really took a tumble. It was like a bumpy first 30 to 40 minutes. Really liked it. Great setup, great atmosphere, amazing. All the audio. The beginning of the movie starts with no audio. Perfect. It was perfect. The setup, all that was great. Really liked it. And then it just kind of like, I don't know. It really just took a dip, and I can't talk about it until I get to spoilers. It took a massive dip at times. And some of them were so bad, I was like, oh, I'm really not liking this. And it goes back up, I'm like, okay. And we'll get to it. But I thought the acting was good. I thought the suspense was there. I was never scared. There was a couple of jump scares, and I was like, oh, but that I wouldn't really consider those jumps. Like, if a movie's over and I'm not thinking about it anymore when it comes to the horror element, then I just don't find it scary. Like, I have to really like consider it. And I've been thinking about it for the last couple hours, and none of it was really scary. There's one shot that's actually really creepy, but when I came back home and it's dark and it's lonely, I didn't think about it. I was just like, yeah, that's fine. Unlike Long Legs or something recently, which I know a lot of people gave that shit over for many reasons, but I loved it. Long Legs actually had a lot going for it, and it really did creep me out when I got home. Here, not so much. There's one shot towards the end of the movie. I'm sure people know what I'm talking about, and it is a wild moment in the movie. But it's just one particular shot. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. But it looks like Alien. It has the future retro tech kind of thing going on. The characters aren't like super likable. Like I think the alien crew from the first movie feels more like real people in this situation, just like space truckers as everybody calls them. And a lot of them you don't get to know too much of, but you get to know enough where you're like, oh no, not him, not Dallas, not this guy, And here, not so much. Actually, for the most part, the side characters I don't like. I like the main two, but it'll probably maybe work out for most of the movie because they're the main characters. There's no like suspense there really, but there is a good amount of suspense when it comes to like just some moments in the movie. Like there was one moment where they had to like be really quiet, and it reminded me of that scene in Cube where if they make any noise, then they're pretty much dead. And I always remember that scene in Cube because that always put me on edge when I was a kid. Even when rewatching it, I was always like, oh fuck. And I love that movie. Cube is great. But yeah, it's just there's not enough of it. And there's definitely not enough scares in it. There's a decent amount of action and there's some cool set pieces, but nothing super original. And it does look gorgeous at times. It's just like there's a lot of times where I'm just like, yeah, cool, it looks really nice. So did Prometheus, and people don't like that movie. Like I know a lot of people do, but there's also a lot more people that do not. I remember when it came out. And there's a lot of inconsistencies in the story, which guess what? There are in this one. Not as much as Prometheus, but still things that just don't make a lot of sense. But overall, I still enjoyed it. I definitely really liked the first 34 minutes. When I was watching, I was like, this movie's fucking slapping. It's going to be one of the best ones. And by then, I'm just like, this I think is better than Alien Covenant. Like, I know that's controversial to say, but I really like all the David stuff in Alien Covenant. And even his doppelganger, Walter, I think his name was. I really liked all that stuff. I thought that stuff was great. Everything about Michael Fassbender in that movie is like top tier Alien stuff to me. Everything else, though, not so much. And there's a lot of really shitty, stupid shit in that movie. But there's also a couple good moments. You know, I like the protomorph. I like the back burster. I know that's like, it comes out the back this time. But I thought that whole scene was pretty well done. It looks better than Alien Covenant. It also didn't throw away a bunch of shit that was in the previous movie. This movie has a lot more to do with the entirety of the Alien franchise than I was ever expecting. Yeah, I just didn't love it. And I liked it, but how long will I like it is my question. Because there's times where I'm just like, I should really not even talk about a movie until I give it like a week. And I have a feeling, I don't know yet, but in a week, will I still like this movie? I do want to see it one more time, but I'm a little disappointed. I just, straight up, I really am. Because the trailers were so fucking good. They were really great. Something in the water. Anyway, and that just seems like they're good in the movie. And then that's like pretty much right where the movie starts to take a tumble here and there. But you know what? There you go. That's it. Now let's get to spoilers. So full-on spoilers from here on out. Yo, rest in peace, Ian Holm. When he showed up, I was like, oh no, we're doing the fucking Grand Moff Tarkin shit. Oh, Grand Moff Tarkin. I always have a hard time saying that. Of course, Peter Cushing, that's the actor. He's been dead for a long time, so they had to CG him in Rogue One. If you don't get that reference, here. Ian Holm's been dead for not that long. I think only a few years. Wait, when did he die? I want to say not too long ago. I want to say, 2020. So he's been dead since 2020. So he shows up, and it is a horrible special effect. I'm sorry, it's fucking terrible. And at times I'm like, is it like a animatronic? Like. And then I'm like, look at it, I'm like, no, that's just really bad. I can't tell if they were trying to do deep fakes or something. It looks really terrible. It looked bad. Like Grand Moff Tarkin looked not very good, but they knew at times to keep him in the dark. There's so many shots of like a close-up of Ian Holm. This time he plays Rook, not Ash. Whatever. Which doesn't make sense. Whatever. I guess it kind of does. Whatever. It was just there to be like, ugh, and nobody in my theater knew who the fuck it was. I was the only one going, oh god. I groaned. I think the guy next to me was like, what? I was like, ugh. I did that 3 times in this movie, but I'll tell you the other 2. I'm sure you already know one of them, but the other one is like, I really hated that. Because they could have easily done, you know what? I would have given it credit if they said, "Fuck it, let's do a David model or a Michael Fassbender model." Because they already showed that there's multiple different, like that model. So that would have been better because this takes place after both Prometheus and Alien Covenant, I believe, right? I can't remember if it takes place after Covenant. I'm assuming it does. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah, it has to, because Prometheus is way before Alien. And then Covenant has to be at least a little bit after Prometheus. And this is in between Alien 1 and 2 Aliens, which makes sense later on. Because I thought maybe that whole plotline thing wasn't going to really matter. Like, oh, or not plotline, but that whole, like, in the timeline, like, oh, it's in between, but it doesn't really matter because it's just an alien movie, you know? But no, it actually really does. So yeah, it's a lot of Weyland-Yutani shit, and they bring back Ian Holmes' character. Well, not really. It's Rook this time, not Ash. Nobody knew in my theater, so I guess it probably didn't bother anybody else, but it fucking bothered me, especially the horrible special effect. And just bringing him back, he just died not too long ago, and it was unfucking necessary. Entirely unnecessary. Were they expecting people to go, oh, it just felt disrespectful, and it took me out of the movie so much. And so did all the other times where they had to reference other alien things. I'm just like, you know what? You could say what you will about Prometheus and fucking Alien Covenant. They both had some references here and there, of course, but especially Alien Covenant. But they were still their own movies. They were trying to do something different. Alien Covenant threw out what Prometheus was doing, which I actually really liked what they were doing towards the end of it. That's just me, though. But at least it threw it out to do other things that kind of seemed interesting, you know, like David's gonna go off and like do experiments and shit. I want to see that. I want to see that movie, and we'll never see it now because we got this movie, which is just an alien movie with a lot of action. Not the best action. I'm just gonna say right here, I didn't think it was all that great, especially since it's really dark and the camera work is a little confusing at times. There's something that looks really good. I really like the acid scene, and you know what I'm talking about, the one that's in the trailer where she has to float and not hit any of the acid. I like the idea of it more so than the actual scene, because the way it's filmed is a little weird. It's a stupid scene if you really think about it, but I like the visuals enough where it kind of got me by it. But I really hated the callbacks. I'm sorry. There's a point where I'm like, we're like probably 20 minutes away from the end of the movie. I'm just like, I'm like on the edge of my seat only because when are they gonna fucking say the line? Because I even said it in, I think, my first reviews reaction for Alien Romulus. I'm like, if they fucking do the "get away from her, you bitch" line, because they already did "Game Over, Man" earlier in the movie, by the way, which I thought was kind of cute, but it was still like, at least it wasn't somebody just saying "Game Over, Man." It was someone was actually playing a video game and they died in the game, and it says "Game Over, Man." And it kind of sounded like, maybe I'm just misremembering it. It kind of sounded like a surfer dude, maybe. So it's like "Game Over, Man," you know. But I don't think it was. I think it was just a regular voice. Actually, thinking about it, I really like the world buildup or the world building in the first fucking like 30-40 minutes. I almost wish we had that level of quality for that stuff later on, but it just becomes schlock. It's just generic shit. It really upset me. I'm in the movie, like, and then like 40 minutes by I'm like, yeah, I'm still liking this. I like this. I like that the face huggers feel like more of a threat than usual. I mean, they always were, but like they're actually at times more terrifying than the aliens themselves, the xenomorphs. Yeah, I just also, like, there was a lot of things that I just felt like didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, maybe it does if you really think about it. There's a lot of like moments where I'm like, where are the xenomorphs? Like the beginning, xenomorphs are nowhere to be found until they awaken the face huggers, which I'm like, okay. But then when they awaken the face huggers, later on, there's a bunch of xenomorphs that just show up. And throughout the course of the story, you'll be like, oh, okay, they probably like, you know, spread it out more. But everybody's already dead, so the xenomorphs must have already been like birthed in like before. Like, all right, I know this is confusing. Our characters go on to the Romulus and Remus ship, by the way. So I guess they didn't want to call the movie Alien Romulus and Remus. So whatever. Romulus is better than Remus for sure. But Uncle Remus, that would be cool. Yo, I would still like to see Xenomorph fight Uncle Remus. Yeah, let's try it, bitch. It's like, oh, you know you'd hate those motherfuckers too because they really black too. I need to watch Boondocks. Anyway, so fucking good. Wait, his name is Remus, right? Uncle Remus, right? Saying just Remus sounds weird, but then you put the uncle there and it sounds right. Uncle Remus. Yeah, I'm right. I'm right. Yeah, that's right. I fucking love. Is that his name? Uncle Ruckus. I'm sorry. Remus is that's the race. Yeah, Ruckus. Sorry. Remus is the character from fucking Song of the South. Okay, zippity doo da. That guy. Well, whatever. Romulus and Ruckus. Anyway, so can we just rename it to Romulus and Ruckus? Alien Ruckus. That's a good idea. Oh, I want to see that movie. Oh man. Anyway, so what was I talking about? Oh yeah, all right. So I forgot what I was talking about. I'm just gonna redirect to this. So they all get on the ship and there's xenomorphs or whatever. I'm just gonna forget that whole point. Now I remember what I was saying. Like the xenomorphs must have already been on the ship, but they don't really show up until later after there's already a xenomorph birthed by one of the other characters. Whatever. It's whatever. There's gonna be inconsistencies in the plot, and people are gonna tear it apart. I'm not gonna worry about it. Anyway, there's a point later on in the movie, last 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. I'm just like, all right, I'm just on the edge of my seat waiting for this fucking line, and then they've eventually do it. They do the fucking line. I said in my first reviews, please don't do it, and they do it. The get away from her, you bitch, and it's the lamest shit. It doesn't even make sense for the character that says it to say that. Andy, the kind of weird, like he's obviously there's something wrong with him because he was decommissioned or whatever. He's a Weyland-Yutani android that was reprogrammed by our main character, Rain's dad, to protect her. But there's something glitchy about him. He's not, you can tell there's something not right. So the entire time, he's kind of like that character until he gets like an upgrade, because they have to upgrade him for a second to open a door. So they they get an upgrade, and then he gets kind of like brainwashed to be a Weyland-Yutani just servant, until that's reversed later on in the movie. So the whole time he's either kind of he's like not goofy, he's telling jokes here and there, but he's like very much an android, you can tell. And then he turns into, of course, the servant. And the whole time I'm just like, yeah, he's pretty like subservient, kind of just like there. And he's a great character. I really like him. Whenever the androids are a thing in these movies, it seems like they're the best characters, which is hilarious considering. But they're fucking supposed to not have any emotion stuff, and they're the best characters and the ones you care about the most. And then he just says it. He kills a xenomorph and he says, get away from her. And then he pauses for a second. I'm like, oh, maybe if he just says, get away from her, fine. And then he says, you bitch. I'm like, All right, let's talk about the ending, because there's a lot of shit in this. Like, there's a lot of references. They reference Prometheus, the Prometheus project with the black ooze. They have the black ooze. There's so many dumb character moments. A character injects the black ooze into themselves, even though they barely know what it is. And sure, they're hurt. But so, like, you're fucking right there. Just go into the fucking cryopod. That was the whole point. You were supposed to, whatever. Fuck it. Whatever. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to do. You have Anyway, let's talk about the ending, because the first act I thought was great. Second act has a lot of bumpy shit in it, and I can't say I liked it. I thought it had moments, but for the most part, not great. The last act is so insane, but also exactly what you expect from Alien. It's so weird, because it starts off and like, all right, they beat the aliens and they get off the ship, okay, and they go back on their ship. It's the girl that's cast in everything, Isabella, whatever the fuck, and it's oh my god, fuck, what's her name again? Kaylee Spanny, and then Andy, and they all get on the ship and they're like, we're good. They do the same thing that every Alien movie does, where they're like, we're good and everything's gonna be A-okay, and they're on the ship and there's definitely not anything on board that will fucking try to kill them. And then the girl finally gets into the cryopod, even though she just injected the fucking black ooze into her. She's like, oh, whatever, wake me up before you go, and she goes into the fucking cryopod. And this is, oh my god. The reason why I'm upset is because it actually gets really interesting and weird. She's pregnant. I didn't bring that up. Isabella, whatever the girl. She's kind of useless in the entire movie. She's asleep for like most of the movie. She does almost nothing in the entire movie. She gets knocked out like 4 times. She gets attacked and then stuck to a wall for like a solid minute. It's just, and obviously she's, they save her, but whatever. But so she doesn't do anything throughout most of the movie. And then she gets dragged Oh, I'm sorry. She drags herself onto the ship and then gets dragged into a cryopod. And she goes, "I'm gonna go sleep again for the 18th time in the movie." Ooh, and then close the pod. I think there's like a subplot here that may have gotten cut out where there's a one asshole British dude. He's the guy that goes, "There's something in the water." I think he was the one that got her knocked up. I think there was like a slight, like, because there's a moment where he kind of like embraces her a little bit, and she says like she got pregnant by some asshole. So I'm assuming there was something going on there, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's cut. Maybe it's just a little subtle thing. I don't fucking care. I don't like these characters anyway. They were both dead, and I'm glad. Because they sucked. Especially the British dude. When he got, which, by the way, it happens exactly in the trailer. So all the people that were telling me, "Oh, that's probably not how he dies in the trailer," you can lick my balls, because that's exactly where he dies in the trailer. You can suck my balls. All right, to be fair, he gets stabbed. He goes, "Oh, me, oi," and then he gets blood. I mean, he gets the acid blood dripped on him. Literally 5 seconds later. So sure, they didn't show the exact moment he died, but that's where he dies. So I won't fucking hear it. They did spoil deaths in the fucking trailer, including the one that's on the poster with the fucking. I'm probably using that as the thumbnail. That one's a big spoiler because they showed that in almost the entire thing in the trailer. I gotta give them credit also. Practical effects. There's a lot of special effects, but there's a lot of good practical effects, and the little puppet coming out of the body there with the little xenomorph was really nice. I like that. And the xenomorphs themselves look great. I wish we saw them a little bit more. I feel like they were shrouded too much in darkness, because I feel like the practical suits looked really fucking good. And I would like to see them full blown. You know, I want to see an alien isolation shot where you just see them straight up like there. There is one shot later where you get that kinda, and that's where I'm leaning to. So anyway, she's pregnant. She injected the black ooze into her, and now she's in the cryopod. Her cryopod starts to malfunction. It turns red, and our main character's like, "What? What the hell?" And then she opens the thing, and she's like, and it's like, "Oh, what's going on?" Where it can't possibly be the black ooze that she injected into herself. And then you find out, oh, she was only like maybe a month or two pregnant. Look, boom, straight up showing big ass belly. You know, and immediately I was like, "Oh, are we gonna get like a Prometheus, like when fucking Numi Rapace had to, what was her name, Shaw, had to remove the tentacle monster out of her," which was an awesome scene. And I'm gonna tell you right here, it's still better than anything that's in this movie. Just gonna throw that out there. But this is pretty good. She straight up births a fucking alien monster, and you're like, "Oh, okay, it's gonna be." They show that they come in like these little eggs almost, so that's cool. And you're like, "Oh, cool." And then Rain's like, "Oh, this is sick." And then she's taking it. She's like, "Ooh, I like this." And then she's gonna throw it away or something. This is not the this is not the dialogue or anything in the movie. That would be great. She's like, "Oh, that's my baby." I was like, "Oh, cool. Let me take this." No, way more. There's more urgency and disgust throughout the and like, what the fuck. But anyway, so she's about to throw it away, but then she drops it because the acid of the thing and stuff, and then I think you know where this is going. So you're probably let's pretend you don't know where it's going, or you haven't seen the movie. This thing you're probably like, okay, so it's a xenomorph. Well, she wasn't, with the face hugger, so no, it's not a xenomorph. At least I don't think she was. She was hooked onto the wall. Usually that means a face hugger gets her, but they didn't show a face hugger there, so I don't know if they had the time to give her a face hugger one. I'm gonna just assume no, because the face hugger would implant it in her chest, and I don't know if they know that the wound. I'm not gonna get into that. It's not really connected, but who fucking knows? Maybe the DNA of the thing inside. What? Who fucking cares? And well, actually, feed it to. Fuck it. Whatever. Maybe it makes sense if you really think about it. But I'm assuming it was just the black ooze. The black ooze injected it into her. She did it herself. Nobody else did it. They should have made it so somebody else did it. Because when she did it, I'm just like, you fucking idiot. You're such a fucking moron. So she births a baby thing. She lives. She's still alive. I thought she would die during birth. And then Rain's just like, and takes the little baby placenta thing and drops it because of the acid, and then goes through the grate. And she's like, "Ew." But before it falls, you can see a face, and it's a little human baby face. It's like, what? I'm like, it's going to be it's going to be kind of what they were trying to do in Alien Resurrection with that fucking weird ass the baby. You know what I'm talking about if you watch that movie. And there I was like, okay, I'm interested. I already knew that's where it was kind of going. Right when she said she was pregnant, I was like, well, they're introducing that for some reason, because everything in this is introduced for a reason, which is both a positive and negative, because it's like the most obvious thing sometimes, but it's nice that they set the things up. Like there's that X-ray thing where she points at her body, and you can see the chest burster, but which is cool, but it's never used for anything else besides that one moment. So it just felt like it was there just so they could put it in the trailer. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, it's cool. You can see like your bones and stuff. She uses it once, goes cool, and you can see like inside, but there's other things like that too. There's stuff with Andy inside. It's not that important. But yeah, so they set that up that she's pregnant. I'm like, all right, well, that's gonna come into play somehow. And my brain was immediately like, the pregnancy's gonna happen, and there's gonna be some complications or something. Because like she said, I'm pregnant, but she's not showing. But I'm like, no, something's gonna happen. Right when they introduced the Prometheus ooze, I was like, nah, that girl is gonna get that injected, and that baby's coming out. It's gonna look like, I thought what I thought was gonna happen was it was gonna be an engineer, which I was kind of close, because the baby, just like a xenomorph, because it is part xenomorph, grows up really quickly, and I mean really quickly, to the point where it's like 12 seconds later and it's already fucking literally like 14 feet tall. And I will say, the first time we get a full shot of it, and this is the one time where I was actually creeped out, there was a shot of it like crawling like a xenomorph, but it was in like a hall, and it looked creepy. And it was just a shot. It was not moving. It was just looking. I was like, that's like some creepypasta shit. That was pretty good. And then pretty much every other time we see it, it just looks like a guy like, on a big lanky ass body. And I was just like, all right. All right. I mean, it might as well just be a xenomorph, except with a human head. It doesn't, because he also has like a tongue thing too, which I get it. If you're going to fuse a xenomorph thing with, then fine. But like, interesting. It is something that I would expect to see from David too, like an experiment that goes wrong, something like this, and then there's a human xenomorph baby hybrid. So that was cool in that sense. But the reason why I was just like, oh my god, because I knew exactly how it was gonna end, and it pretty much ends like every Alien movie ever. They have to find it, and it gets thrown out of the ship, and it's exactly happening like that. And the camera work is really confusing at times. I'm like, what the fuck happened? What? And the entire time I'm just like, I'm just not that interested. I'm sorry. Like you got me there with the fucking human alien hybrid, which I'm not gonna even say is like the most outlandish shit. It was wild just because it kind of like ramped up really quick. Like the cryopop was like, and she opened it. She's like, and she squirted a baby out, and she's like, and she runs and she drops it and goes, and then he goes, I'm big now, and then like the pacing of that last third is pretty quick. So that's why it's like wild, because it's like ramping up pretty quickly with not a lot of suspense there. It's just like, there's like maybe like a 30-second like piece of suspense there, but like literally like 2 minutes after the baby falls through the thing, it's 14 feet tall and trying to kill everybody. And it's like, I guess, drinking the blood or whatever of the lady that was pregnant, the Isabella Mamma Mia, whatever her fucking last name is, Dora the Explorer. That was kind of weird to see, because she played Dora in that movie. And she's like in everything. She's in Last of Us season 2. She's Hawk Girl. She's in this. Isn't she in like, was she in Sicario 2? Was that her? I want to say she was in that. Was that her? I think that was her. I just don't care towards the end, and that's my problem. I liked Andy, but when he stopped being like serious, like, I don't know, like when he just became like, I'm good boy Andy again towards the end, I'm like, I like this. I like good boy Andy, but he's not as interesting anymore. I would have liked if they kind of went the route where he's just like, he doesn't want to be mistreated anymore or something like that. And he doesn't become evil or something, but he realizes like, all right, I'm being mistreated by almost everybody. And even Rain, who they have a good bond, but like even Rain at one point was going to get rid of him. I won't talk too much about that, but there is a moment where it's revealed that she's about to ditch him and stuff. I wish there was more of Andy, like, almost discovering his humanity, almost, even though he's not a human. But you know what I mean. Like I don't want to compare things to these games, but like that Detroit Become Human game, kind of something like that, except done well. Not done by a fucking hack. So there's a lot I like about it. I would say it's like 50-50 when it comes to stuff I think was great, and then the stuff that I thought was either okay or just like, I wouldn't say anything was really bad besides all the Rook stuff. Just because it's offensive too. Like, why? Of all the characters, why not just fucking have, you should just, hey, Michael Fassbender, hey, yeah, we already showed that you got multiple of your fucking robot. Why don't you come over? Dude, they could have even had David. Like, it's years later. Maybe David did get caught. If you just want to, like, tie it in, you're not going to tell us what happened. And it would make more sense because they were doing, like, there's a little weird thing that happened later on with the fucking baby and stuff. So you could have, like, David maybe was the one that was trying to do more experiments like that. Maybe he was working with Yutani again. I don't know. You could, whatever. It was just so lame. Maybe they did call Fassbender. He was like, no, fuck that. I'm doing Kung Fury too. Which I don't think is ever going to come out at this point. But, yeah, I talked about it way longer than I thought I was going to. But, yeah, I just had a lot of problems with it. I really did. If I had to give it a score, though, right now, I think I'd probably give it a 7. Yeah. I mean, that's not far off from what people are giving it. Like, I know it has an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, but if you look at the average rating, I bet it's like a 7. So that's pretty close. And 7's not a bad score. I know a lot of people go, ooh, that's a bad score. It's not. It really isn't. But I have a feeling in about a week I might be a 6. I need to see it one more time because really, a lot of it let me down. Like, the trailers look so fucking good. It was one of those, like, there's no way it's going to be bad. And it wasn't bad, but it's just, I don't think I've seen a single Alien movie I would consider bad unless we're counting Alien versus Predator, which I guess you can, but I don't. Because I don't care. I still enjoy Alien Resurrection. I guess technically that's a bad movie, but it's a fun bad movie. Alien 3 has a lot of really good stuff in it, just like this one, and a lot of not so great stuff. So, and Alien 1 and Aliens, classics. Yeah, and they're both very unique movies. I wish we would get a unique Alien movie again. I mean, I guess technically we did. We got Prometheus and fucking Alien Covenant. So, and I don't care what anyone says. Alien Covenant does have a lot of the alien trappings, but there's so much of that David stuff that's really good. I really like that stuff. I really do. And the end of that movie, I was like, you kind of redeemed yourself here. It's still not great, but that was pretty good. I like that. The twist was very obvious, to be fair, in Covenant. But I like the idea of what he was going to do in the future. It's just, I was like kind of hyped for that. And 7 years later, we didn't get a sequel, and fuck it, I guess. Fuck it. Whatever. I don't care anyway. I don't even want to see it. I wanted to see it. Anyway, there you go. That's it. That's all I got to say. So, how'd you like it?